Chosen one, pause for a moment. The fact that you're reading these words right now on this specific day, November 14th, 2025, is no accident. Heaven has orchestrated this divine appointment because something significant is shifting in your favor. What you've been praying for in secret, what you've been believing for in silence, what you've been holding on to through endless nights of doubt, it's all coming to completion. Today marks the beginning of your elevation season. For too long, you've watched others receive their breakthrough while you remained faithful in the waiting room. You've celebrated others' victories while quietly wondering when your turn would come. You've sown seeds with trembling hands, hoping heaven was watching, hoping your faithfulness wasn't in vain. But God sees everything, every tear you cried in private, every prayer you whispered at 3 a.m., every time you chose faith over fear. Every moment you wanted to give up, but didn't. Heaven has been keeping record, and today the scales are tipping in your favor. There's a reason the warfare intensified recently. There's a reason everything seemed to get harder before it got better. There's a reason the enemy launched his fiercest attacks against your peace, your finances, your relationships. He saw what you couldn't see yet. Your breakthrough was already in motion. The enemy doesn't waste time fighting people who are going nowhere. He reserves his strongest opposition for those who are about to cross over into their promised season. And chosen one, you're standing at the threshold right now. Something supernatural happened in the spiritual realm over the past few weeks. Doors that were sealed have been unlocked. Prayers that seemed to go unanswered have been heard, and heaven's response is already on its way. Angels have received new assignments concerning your life. Divine connections are being positioned to find you. Provision that seemed impossible is now moving in your direction. You felt it, haven't you? That subtle shift in the atmosphere, that quiet knowing deep in your spirit that something is different now. That's not your imagination. That's spiritual discernment confirming what heaven has already decreed. Your elevation has begun. Let me tell you what's happening right now. In this very moment, as you read these words, there's a transfer taking place in the heavenly realms. Everything the enemy stole from you, your joy, your peace, your confidence, your resources, is being restored with interest. What was taken in secret is being returned publicly. What was lost in darkness is being found in light. The universe is realigning itself in your favor. Opportunities that passed you by are circling back with better timing. People who overlooked you are about to see you with new eyes. Doors that slammed shut are preparing to swing wide open. And this time, nothing will stop what God has set in motion. November 14th, 2025. Remember this date. This is the day heaven marked as your turning point. This is the day the waiting season officially ended and the winning season began. This is the day everything started changing in your favor. But here's what you need to understand. Elevation doesn't come to prepare you. It comes because you're already prepared. Everything you've endured up until this moment was preparation for what's coming next. The betrayal you survived taught you discernment you'll need in your next level. The financial pressure you endured taught you to trust God as provider, not people or systems. The isolation you experienced taught you to hear heaven's voice above all the noise. The delays you suffered taught you patience that will sustain you when things accelerate. Nothing was wasted. Every closed door protected you from wrong timing. Every no redirected you toward a yes so big it will silence every doubt. Every disappointment positioned you for an appointment with destiny you would have missed otherwise. You weren't being punished. You were being perfected. And now, finally, you're ready for what heaven has been holding. There's a frequency shift happening around you right now. Can you feel it? That lightness in your chest where heaviness used to sit. That clarity in your mind where confusion once reigned. That peace in your spirit where anxiety used to dwell. These aren't random feelings. These are spiritual indicators that your season has changed. In the coming days and weeks, you're going to notice confirmations everywhere. Numbers that catch your attention: 1111, 14:14, 2:22, appearing at significant moments, confirming you're on the right path. Conversations with strangers that speak directly to your situation, even though they know nothing about you. Dreams that provide clarity about next steps. Sudden insights that solve problems you've been struggling with for months. These aren't coincidences. These are divine confirmations. Heaven is speaking to you in the language of signs and synchronicities, saying, I'm with you, I see you, everything I promised is manifesting now. Your elevation won't look like anyone else's because your assignment is unique. Don't compare your journey to others. Don't measure your progress by someone else's timeline. What God has for you is custom designed for your purpose, your calling, your specific assignment on earth. Some elevations are loud and public, others are quiet and private. Some come through sudden breakthroughs, others come through steady, consistent growth. What matters isn't how it looks. What matters is that it's yours, and chosen one, yours is here. Let me tell you what's about to happen in the next 30 days. You're going to see evidence of supernatural favor. Things that normally take years will happen in weeks. Doors that required connections you don't have will open anyway. Resources you didn't know existed will become available to you. People will say yes when logic says they should say no. You'll find yourself in rooms you didn't qualify for, having conversations with people who were previously inaccessible, receiving opportunities that seemed too good to be true, and each time you'll know it wasn't your effort. It was divine orchestration. Your business idea that's been sitting dormant, it's about to gain momentum. Your creative project that nobody seemed interested in, the right eyes are about to see it. Your ministry vision that felt too big for your current capacity, heaven is about to expand your capacity to match the vision. But here's what's most important. This elevation isn't just about you. It's about everyone your life will touch once you step into this new dimension. There are people who will only be reached through your story. There are souls who will only be saved because you said yes to your assignment. There are breakthroughs that will only manifest because you chose faith over fear. Your elevation has a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you can see right now. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. He wasn't afraid of you staying small. He was terrified of what would happen when you finally stepped into your true size. He knew that once you discovered who you really are and what you're truly capable of, countless others would be set free through your obedience. Your breakthrough isn't selfish, it's strategic. Your elevation isn't about comfort, it's about commission. Your victory isn't just personal, it's purposeful. God is elevating you because He needs you positioned, He needs you resourced, He needs you visible. Not for your glory, but for His. Not to make you comfortable, but to make you effective. Everything you've been through has given you a testimony that will unlock other people's faith. Every battle you've won has given you authority to help others win theirs. Every darkness you've walked through has given you light to share with those still in darkness. This is why heaven marked November 14th, 2025 as your elevation date. Not because the number is magical, but because the timing is divine. Everything in the universe has been aligning to bring you to this precise moment. Every experience, every lesson, every tear, every triumph, all of it converging right here, right now. You're not behind schedule, you're exactly on time. And what's coming next will prove that every moment of waiting was worth it. Your elevation won't just change your circumstances, it will change your identity. You're about to discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed, gifts you didn't know you carried, strength you didn't know you possessed, authority you didn't know was yours. The person you've been is about to meet the person you're becoming. And when those two versions collide, everything shifts. Your confidence transforms, your faith multiplies, your impact expands. People who knew the old you will struggle to recognize the new you, not because you've changed your appearance, but because you've changed your frequency. You're operating on a different level now. You're carrying a different anointing. You're walking with a different authority. And that authority isn't arrogance, it's assurance. It's knowing who you are and whose you are. It's understanding that what God has placed inside you is greater than any obstacle in front of you. This is your season of supernatural acceleration. Things that should take 5 years will happen in 5 months. Doors that should require a decade of experience will open after a single conversation. Provision that should need careful planning will arrive unexpectedly. You're entering a season where heaven bends the natural rules in your favor, where timing collapses, where impossibilities become testimonies, where prayers are answered before you finish praying them. But with this elevation comes responsibility. You're not being elevated to hoard blessings. You're being elevated to distribute them. You're not being lifted to live in isolation. You're being positioned to lift others. Every resource that comes to you comes with assignment attached. Every door that opens for you opens with purpose behind it. Every connection that finds you carries divine intention. This isn't just about personal success, it's about kingdom advancement. And the moment you understand that, everything accelerates even faster. Your elevation will make some people uncomfortable. They'll question how you got there so fast. They'll doubt whether you deserve it. They'll wait for you to fail so they can say they knew all along. Let them talk. Their doubt doesn't diminish your destiny. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You just need to stay faithful to the one who called you. Heaven's approval is the only validation that matters. And chosen one, you already have it. November 14th, 2025 is your date with destiny. The waiting is over. The preparation is complete. The doors are opening. The favor is flowing. The elevation has begun. And nothing, absolutely nothing can stop what God has started in your life. The divine shift that's happening right now, chosen one, there's something profound happening in the invisible realm that you need to understand. While you've been waiting, heaven hasn't been idle. While you've been praying, angels have been working. While you've been believing, miracles have been forming. Right now, in this exact moment, there are answers to prayers you prayed months ago that are finally reaching their destination. There are breakthroughs you've been believing for that have already been released from heaven and are making their way to you through the physical realm. There are divine appointments scheduled in your calendar that you don't even know about yet. The spiritual realm operates on different timing than the physical realm. What seems delayed to you has actually been perfectly timed by heaven. What feels like denial has actually been divine redirection. What looks like a closed door has actually been protection from premature exposure. Think about it. If you had received certain blessings 2 years ago, would you have been ready? If certain doors had opened before now, would you have had the character to walk through them successfully? If certain people had entered your life earlier, would you have recognized their value? Heaven's delays are always purposeful. God doesn't make mistakes with timing. He doesn't forget his promises. He doesn't overlook his faithful ones. Every moment you've spent waiting has been an investment in your future success. And now that investment is about to pay dividends that will astound you. November 14th, 2025 marks a convergence point. Everything you've been building, believing, and becoming is converging into this single moment of divine elevation. The seeds you planted in tears are about to become harvests of joy. The prayers you spoke in darkness are about to manifest in broad daylight. The faith you maintained through silence is about to be rewarded with undeniable evidence. You're about to enter a season where your testimony becomes so powerful that it silences every critic, where your breakthrough becomes so obvious that it eliminates every doubt, where your elevation becomes so evident that even your enemies will have to acknowledge that God's hand is upon you. But let me tell you something crucial. This elevation you're entering isn't designed to make your life easier. It's designed to make your life more effective. You're not being promoted to comfort. You're being positioned for greater impact. With elevation comes increased responsibility. With breakthrough comes bigger assignments. With favor comes higher expectations. Are you ready for that? Because heaven only elevates those who can handle what comes with the elevation. This is why the preparation season was so intense. This is why the testing was so thorough. This is why the waiting felt so long. God was building capacity in you. He was strengthening your foundation. He was preparing you to carry weight that would have crushed the person you used to be. The you from 3 years ago couldn't handle what's coming. The you from last year wasn't ready for this level, but the you right now, the you who survived everything you've survived, the you who remained faithful through every trial. This version of you is prepared for what heaven is releasing. Your elevation will shock people because they only saw your struggle. They didn't see your prayer life. They didn't witness your midnight conversations with God. They didn't hear your declarations of faith when circumstances screamed defeat. They only saw the visible battle. They didn't see the invisible preparation. But soon everyone will see the fruit of what was planted in secret. Soon the world will witness what happens when heaven decides to showcase someone who refused to give up. Soon your life will become a walking testimony that God still keeps his promises. In the coming weeks, you're going to experience acceleration in areas where you felt stuck. That business that's been stagnant, sudden growth. That relationship that's been strained, supernatural healing. That financial situation that's been tight, unexpected provision. That dream that's been dormant. Divine activation. Things that you've tried to force open through your own effort will suddenly open effortlessly. Doors you've knocked on repeatedly will finally swing wide. Opportunities you've pursued without success will suddenly pursue you. The script is flipping, the tables are turning, the season is shifting, and the most beautiful part, you won't have to prove yourself anymore. The script is flipping. The tables are turning, the season is shifting, and the most beautiful part, you won't have to prove yourself anymore. You won't have to defend your calling. You won't have to convince anyone of your worth. The favor on your life will speak louder than any words ever could. When God elevates you, he does it in a way that makes it clear he did it. Not your connections, not your qualifications, not your efforts, him. So that when people ask how you got there, the only honest answer is God. This keeps you humble. This keeps you grateful. This keeps you dependent on him, even in your elevation, because you'll always remember that what he gave, he can also take away. What he opened, he can also close. Your promotion isn't based on your performance. It's based on his purpose for your life. That's why you can walk in confidence without arrogance. That's why you can celebrate your wins without pride. That's why you can enjoy your blessings without guilt. Because you know who gave them, why he gave them, and what they're meant to accomplish through you. Your elevation isn't just about financial increase, though that's coming. It's not just about career advancement, though that's happening too. It's not just about social recognition, though you'll receive that as well. It's about spiritual authority. You're being elevated into a dimension of spiritual authority, where your words carry weight, where your prayers produce results, where your presence changes atmospheres, where your faith moves mountains. This is the dimension where you stop asking God to do things and start declaring what God has already said, where you stop begging for breakthrough and start announcing what heaven has already released, where you stop hoping things will change and start commanding things to align with divine will. This is apostolic authority, prophetic power, kingdom influence, and it's yours. But with this authority comes warfare. The enemy will test your resolve. He'll send distractions disguised as opportunities. He'll send counterfeits disguised as blessings. He'll send voices disguised as wisdom. You'll need discernment like never before. This is why the isolation season was so important. God was training you to recognize his voice above all others. He was teaching you to discern between what sounds good and what is good. He was sharpening your spiritual senses so that when this elevation season arrived, you wouldn't be deceived by everything that glitters. Not every open door is a God door. Not every opportunity is a divine opportunity. Not every connection is a kingdom connection. You'll need to test everything against what God has already spoken to you. You'll need to measure every option against the vision He's placed in your heart. Some things will look like promotions, but will actually be detours. Some offers will seem attractive, but will actually be traps. Some relationships will appear beneficial, but will actually drain you. Stay close to God. Let Him guide every decision. Don't let the excitement of elevation make you careless with discernment. Your elevation will also expose who's really for you and who was just tolerating you until their season came. Some people who seem supportive will suddenly become distant. Some who celebrated with you in small things will struggle to celebrate with you in big things. This isn't personal. It's positional. When you elevate, you expose the limitations in others. Your growth highlights their stagnation. Your breakthrough confronts their complacency. Your obedience challenges their excuses. They're not necessarily bad people. They're just people who aren't ready to go where you're going. Let them go without bitterness. Release them without resentment. Bless them and move forward. Your elevation requires you to travel light. You can't carry people who aren't willing to grow. You can't drag relationships that have served their season. You can't force connections that God is clearly disconnecting. But here's what you must understand. Favor doesn't mean everyone will like you. Elevation doesn't mean everyone will celebrate you. In fact, the higher you go, the more criticism you'll face. This isn't a sign you're off track. It's confirmation you're on track. The enemy uses people's voices to make you doubt what God has confirmed. He'll send criticism disguised as concern. He'll send jealousy disguised as advice. He'll send fear disguised as wisdom. You must learn to filter every voice through the voice of God. If what someone says contradicts what God already told you, dismiss it. If their opinion creates confusion where you had clarity, reject it. If their words produce fear where you had faith, ignore it. Not everyone has earned the right to speak into your destiny. This elevation season will also test your stewardship. As provision increases, God will watch how you handle it. As influence grows, He'll observe how you use it. As doors open, He'll see which ones you walk through and which ones you wisely decline. Your character in elevation will determine your longevity in elevation. Many people receive breakthrough but lose it quickly because they weren't prepared to manage what they received. They got the promotion but lacked the maturity to sustain it. They obtained the resources but didn't have the wisdom to multiply them. They gained the platform but didn't have the integrity to steward it. This is why the preparation season was so crucial. God wasn't just testing your faith, He was building your character. He wasn't just strengthening your resolve. He was developing your wisdom. He wasn't just increasing your capacity, He was refining your judgment. Now, as you enter this elevation, you're not the same person who began the journey. You're wiser, stronger, more discerning, more mature. The trials didn't break you, they built you. The delays didn't stop you, they prepared you. The opposition didn't defeat you, it trained you. You're ready now. Not because you're perfect, but because you're prepared. Not because you have all the answers, but because you know who has the answers. Not because you're fearless, but because you've learned to move forward despite fear. This is the season where your testimony becomes your ministry, where your pain becomes your purpose, where your mess becomes your message. Everything you've survived becomes a tool to help others survive. Every battle you've won becomes a blueprint for others to win. Every breakthrough you receive becomes proof that God is still in the business of miracles. People will start reaching out to you for advice, for prayer, for guidance. This isn't random. This is part of your elevation. God is positioning you as a voice of hope, a beacon of faith, a testament to His faithfulness. Your life is becoming a living sermon that preaches louder than words ever could. But remember this, Elevation isn't about you becoming famous. It's about God becoming famous through you. It's not about building your kingdom. It's about advancing His kingdom. It's not about making your name great. It's about making His name known. The moment you make your elevation about personal glory, you've missed the point. The moment you use your platform for selfish gain, you've misunderstood the assignment. The moment you forget who elevated you, you've positioned yourself for a fall. Stay humble, stay grateful, stay dependent on God. Let your elevation drive you to your knees more often, not less. Let your success make you more prayerful, not less spiritual. Let your breakthrough increase your worship, not decrease your desperation for God's presence. Because here's the truth. What God gives, He can also take away. What He opens, He can also close. Your elevation is a stewardship, not an entitlement. It's a responsibility, not a reward. It's a platform for His glory, not a stage for your ego. Walk in this elevation with reverence. Carry this favor with gratitude. Use this influence with wisdom. And always, always remember, it's not about you. It's about what God wants to accomplish through you. In the days ahead, you'll face opportunities that will test your integrity. You'll encounter shortcuts that promise quick success, but compromise your values. You'll meet people who offer connections, but expect ethical compromises. You'll see paths that lead to temporary gain, but permanent damage. Choose the narrow road every time. Choose integrity over opportunity. Choose character over convenience. Choose obedience over outcome, because elevation built on shortcuts crumbles quickly, but elevation built on obedience stands forever. Your elevation story is being written right now in these very moments. Every choice you make, every door you walk through, every person you align with, every opportunity you accept or decline, all of it is creating a narrative that will either glorify God or glorify self. Choose wisely, chosen one, because the world is watching. Not just the people around you, but the generations coming after you. Your children will inherit the fruit of your decisions. Your spiritual sons and daughters will follow the pattern you establish. Your testimony will either point people toward God or toward worldly success. Make it count. Make it matter. Make it eternal. In this elevation season, you'll discover gifts you didn't know you possessed. You'll find strength in places you thought were weak. You'll see provision come from sources you never expected. You'll witness miracles that defy natural explanation. And through it all, you'll learn that God's ways are higher than your ways, His thoughts higher than your thoughts. The blueprint He's given you for this season won't make sense to everyone. Some will question your methods. Others will doubt your direction. Many will wonder why you're choosing certain paths over others. Don't waste energy defending what God has already confirmed. Let your results speak for themselves. When God is directing your steps, you don't need human validation. When heaven is backing your decisions, you don't need earthly approval. When divine favor is upon your life, you don't need to explain yourself to those who lack spiritual discernment to see it. Walk in confidence, but not arrogance. Move with assurance, but not pride. Operate with authority, but not entitlement. This balance is what separates those who sustain elevation from those who lose it. Your humility in high places will determine how long you remain in high places. Your gratitude in abundance will determine how much more abundance flows to you. Your faithfulness in visibility will determine how far your influence extends. Remember, Joseph didn't promote himself to second in command of Egypt. God did. David didn't campaign to become king. God anointed him. Esther didn't scheme her way into the palace. Divine providence positioned her. And you, chosen one, didn't orchestrate this elevation season. Heaven did. So carry it with the weight of responsibility it deserves. Handle it with the care required of sacred things. Steward it with the wisdom of someone who knows that to whom much is given, much is required. This elevation isn't a finish line. It's a starting line. It's not the destination. It's a new departure point. What you thought was the peak is actually just base camp for the next mountain God is calling you to climb. Don't get comfortable. Don't settle. Don't let success make you complacent. The moment you stop growing, you start dying. The moment you think you've arrived, you've actually departed from God's next level for your life. Stay hungry. Stay humble. Stay dependent on the one who elevated you. Because November 14th, 2025 isn't just a date. It's a declaration. It's heaven's announcement that your season of obscurity has ended and your season of influence has begun. But influence without integrity is manipulation. Platform without purpose is vanity. Success without surrender is ultimately failure. Make sure that as you rise, you're rising with God, not just rising because of God. There's a difference. Rising with God means He's still your closest companion. Rising because of God means you've used Him as a stepping stone and moved on without Him. One leads to sustained success. The other leads to spectacular collapse. You've seen it happen to others. People who started well but finished poorly. People who began with pure hearts but ended with corrupted motives. People who once walked in humility but elevation bred pride. People who once sought God's face but success made them seek only His hand. Don't become that cautionary tale. Don't let your elevation story become a warning rather than an inspiration. Don't allow this season of breakthrough to become a setup for breakdown. Guard your heart with all diligence. Protect your prayer life ferociously. Maintain your worship consistently. Stay rooted in community. Remain accountable to spiritual authority. Keep learning, keep growing, keep surrendering, because this elevation, this beautiful, supernatural, long-awaited elevation is just the beginning of what God wants to do in your life and through your life. The best chapters of your story haven't been written yet. The greatest impact you'll make hasn't been made yet. The most significant lives you'll touch haven't been touched yet. The most powerful testimonies you'll create haven't been created yet. It's all ahead of you. It's all coming. It's all part of what November 14th, 2025 represents. The beginning of your greatest season yet. So step into it with courage. Walk in it with confidence. Operate in it with clarity. And through it all, never forget, you're not elevated for your own sake. You're elevated for the sake of everyone your life will touch, everyone your testimony will reach, everyone your obedience will inspire. This is your elevation season, chosen one. And absolutely nothing, no opposition, no criticism, no warfare, no doubt, can stop what God has ordained for your life. Your elevation starts today. Your breakthrough is here. Your time is now. Walk in it, live it, become it, and watch as heaven moves on your behalf in ways that will leave you speechless, grateful, and forever changed. This is your moment. This is your season. This is your divine elevation. Welcome to the greatest chapter of your life.